Let me take you back to December 16, 1971. History was being made in Dhaka. Pakistani soldiers surrendered to India after 13 days of fighting, and the result was this picture. Arguably the most famous in India's military history. This is the picture we're talking about. It shows Pakistan's eastern commander signing the instrument of surrender. With that, 93,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered, the biggest since World War II. Afterwards, these soldiers were taken to India. They had unleashed a bloodbath in Bangladesh, but they left defeated. Around 54 years later, Pakistan's army is returning to Bangladesh again, this time as partners. Reports say Dhaka and Islamabad have reached a deal. Senior Pakistani officers will visit Bangladesh in 2025. They will train soldiers in the Bangladesh army. Apparently, the program will start by February. And it's not an isolated move. A top Pakistani general is expected to visit Dhaka in the coming days. His name is Lieutenant General Sahir Shamshad Mirza. He is the chairman of Pakistan's Joint Chief of Staff Committee. Then in February, they have naval drills. Bangladesh will take part in Pakistan's Aman exercise. It's not a first, but still significant. Now, if you add all of this up, the takeaway is quite clear. Muhammad Yunus wants a defense partnership with Pakistan. He met Pakistan's Prime Minister recently. He talked about moving on from 1971. I guess this is how you move on. By hosting the same army that massacred and raped your people. The same army that refuses to apologize for it. And it fits perfectly with Yunus's foreign policy. He wants to reset ties with Pakistan. The question is, should India be concerned? The short answer is yes. New Delhi should be concerned about two things. First is indoctrination. We saw that in the aftermath of 1971. Bangladesh's generals were all trained in Pakistan, so most of them had an anti-India tilt. Not to mention a disdain for democracy. Just look at Ziaur Rahman and H.M. Irshad. Both of them had close ties to Pakistan's army, and both of them led military coups in Dhaka. The second concern is the security fallout, especially for India's northeast. In the 1990s, Pakistan's military used Bangladesh to funnel weapons to the region. These weapons would eventually end up with Indian separatists. And this time, it could be easier because Yunus has set up a direct sea bridge to Pakistan, meaning Pakistani ships can sail straight to Dhaka, no stopovers, no third country pit stops. Pakistani cargo can sail directly to Bangladesh, which makes smuggling easier. These are the two main concerns for India, but equally worrying is the erasure of history. This attempt to create a new Bangladesh. Some student groups are leading this charge. They organized a march for unity today in Dhaka. It may sound pretty benign, but the initial plan was very different. The students wanted to declare the July protests a revolution. There was talk of demanding a new republic, to scrap Bangladesh's constitution and write a new one. Thankfully, none of that has happened. The student leaders opted for a march instead of proclaiming a revolution. It is a relief, but it's temporary. Yunus will face much bigger challenges in 2025. He made the mistake of obsessing over Bangladesh's past. He tried to rewrite his country's history. But now there are too many writers. The students want a revolutionary regime. The radicals want an Islamist regime. And the political parties want immediate elections. It promises to be a tumultuous year for Dhaka. Let's see how it unfolds.